shoots. He misses. Actually lowered this so that would be easier. Welcome to Hoopatheticals, everybody. The podcast that looks at the NBA in a kind of sideways way. And I couldn't do that without my co-host, Tom Nixon. Tom, what's up, my friend?
Lots been happening, mate. And I thought I'd just crack. I've got a little, for those who aren't watching, a little Hoopatheticals stubby cooler here. Just gonna bring that up, mate. It's been a big couple of weeks of NBA since our last episode, and I wouldn't say it's driven me to the drink, but it's driven me to buy merch and Hoopatheticals merch. So if anyone is keen, we have Hoopatheticals beer cozies. Obviously, the famous Hoopathetical neon light. Hit us up at hoopatheticals@gmail.com. Is that what it is?
Absolutely.
And we will answer every single query that you have and send you out any kind of merch that you want at very affordable, reasonable prices. But that's right, mate. We've got so much to discuss. I'm so excited.
We do. And the context for this episode is I have been in India for the last month. So our last episode we recorded exactly 1 month ago. And we're going to check in a month later. Now, I've been away, and I'm a Milwaukee Bucks fan, and we'll get into what's happened since then. But before we do that, we've got to look around the league, because I need to get my head around what has been going on. And so let's get a heat check on everybody, and let's jump into our segment, Heat Check. Okay, heat check. This is where we like to get the temperature on a couple of things around the league. And like I said, I left a month ago and things were looking very different. Tom, what is a heat check you want to kick us off with today where you are noticing a temperature that you want to talk about?
Mate, there's a couple of teams I just wanted to shout out here. Let's start with who's hot at the moment. Weirdly, the Mavs. I say that with a question mark. Look, they're not having a crazy whatever, but in the last few weeks since you've been away, they've beat the Rockets, they've beat the Heat, who have actually been playing good this season for those who are locked in. They beat the Nuggets. And it's like, and I've got Cooper Flag on my fantasy team, so I'm low key locked into what the Mavs have been doing. But AD's been back. I mean, he got injured, but he's back. He's kind of been playing a little bit, and I just kind of, as far as expectations are concerned with the Mavs, they went from, I don't know if anyone actually thought they'd be a championship team, but there was some kind of expectation, and then there were injuries, so then no one expected anything, but now they're actually playing okay. I don't know. I think the Mavs have been they've been on the simmer a little bit. I think people might be sleeping on them low-key.
Okay, well, this is interesting because when I left off, right, this is just like a bit of a time warp. 10th of November, what I remember was Cooper Flag was a bit of a red flag. He'd just beaten us, but people weren't really sure what was going on. Since then, Nico Harrison has been fired, which I think has been a welcome change for the Mavs fans. I remember it was getting very dark on the Mavs subreddit prior to that. I think it still is pretty dark, but at least there's something. It seems like that the red flag of Cooper Flag has become the green flag now going forward. So I guess, is there anything that you're noticing particularly that has changed the flow? Is it Nico sort of leaving?
Yeah, I think it's just lightened the locker room, man. I think also it's simply just Cooper Flag getting some more reps in. And he's actually been playing a lot better. So, yeah, I got to give it to that Mavs, man. They're actually not being the worst team in the West, which is definitely saying something. So, that's who I've got.
Well, man, let's stay with Nico and let's jump to the other side of that trade, because a team that is fueling my Laker hater nightmare is the Lakers. I'm someone who has notoriously on this podcast loved watching a disaster class from the Lakers, be it, trading for Russell Westbrook, be it sort of making decisions where they keep cutting their bench and adding stars that don't really fit. And I thought with this Luka addition, we're going to get another heliocentric, ball-dominant guy who's not going to work, and this is going to be a sort of 5 to 8 seed in the West. I'm looking at them now. They're the 3rd seed in the West, and all of a sudden, something that shouldn't make any sense is working, which is that Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron can play together, which doesn't make any sense to my mind. So have you, as a Lakers hater, this is my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Have you been noticing anything from them at all?
I also have not been getting any sleep because of this, mate. And it's been compounded by the fact that, I don't know if you saw, but LeBron broke his ludicrous record the other day of 10 points minimum in every game by scoring only 8. And they got the dub. And I think that's just a little microcosm of what's been happening with the Lakers, where Luka's averaging something amounting to like 35.5 points a game, something ludicrous. Tried. Um, and Austin Reeves is actually threatening all-star. I don't know if that's even, I can't believe that those words came from my mouth. Dominating's getting fed basically lob after lob. And we've said this before, actually, not to like big him up too much, but like JJ Redick has this philosophy that anyone can go off in the team. And that's sort of what's been happening. He's just brought fresh coaching to that team. So my nightmares have been realized, and the Lakers aren't crap. They're kind of hot.
Well, that's a shame. That's an unfortunately very high temperature. Did you have anybody else you wanted to temp check, Tom?
Yeah, again, staying with who's hot, before we go to who's very cold. The Spurs, I know it's been very popular saying like Spurs are having a great season, but Wemby's been out, still out for a while. And Stephon Castle has only just come back. He had sort of a middling game the other day. So that's their two kind of key players who've been out, and they're still playing really good basketball. And the reason that I think that they're not overperforming, but they're kind of hot at the moment, is they've got a case of the OKCs going on. I don't know if you know this, but they have so many role players and like third stringers who would basically be like solid rotational players. Guys I've never heard of are getting minutes on that team and actually playing really good. Assists, rebounds, points. Again, I know this because I've got half of them on my fantasy team. And it's just been, I'm looking at this and I'm getting a reminder. I'm getting like, it's literally mirror image to what's happening on OKC, where it's like, we actually don't care who we throw out there because they're going to play great basketball because they've got all these picks and they've been drafting people for so long. So, yeah, the league best, I think they're like 7-3 in their last 10 games. And in the Spurs' head, they're thinking, we won't rush Wemby one iota. And that's actually a concern. So, yeah, Spurs are ahead of the timeline. I don't know if you know this, but they're ahead of the timeline. I think everyone thought they were going to be good like next year, but they're an issue like this year.
Do you, okay, just to compare them to, because again, I haven't really watched much of what's going on, to compare them to a team from last year, would you say they're similar to the Pistons from last year?
Yeah.
Like where they're kind of just like way better than you thought they were going to be, and then really actually competing with the Knicks for playoff spots and like could potentially win if calls went different ways.
Absolutely. And also kind of don't want to see them in the first round sort of vibe. Where it's like they may get, this year might be their blooding year as far as playoffs are concerned. But it's also like, do you want to see them in a 7-game series? Probably not. So, yeah, they're a bit of a wild card, and they're probably going to end up with like maybe a 5th seed or something, maybe even 4th, which actually would suck if you were the 2nd or 3rd seed in the West. You'd kind of be like, I'd rather not, you know? So that's who I've got who's hot. Do you want to move on to who's been really in the fridge?
No, not yet, because I just we have to touch on one team that is the obvious one that we haven't touched on that's really hot. And I've just got to ask a question about OKC. Okay, this is just my question. Has OKC found the same gap that the 2016 Warriors have found? Like, do you remember when they were playing and they just realized if you shoot more threes than everybody else, you're going to be better? And the league just couldn't catch up because there weren't enough 3-point shooters to put on teams. So, like, they had worked this out. They'd created this gap between the rest of the league, and they were just floating above the league in a way that the league would then spend the next decade copying. Has OKC done that exact same jump, and they're that level above everybody just because they know the next phase of where basketball's going and they're already there?
Yeah, and I think what that jump is not necessarily 3-point shooting. It's having multiple bodies to throw in your lineup and nursing your picks, and basically having an outlook that's not 1 or 2 years. I don't even think many teams have a 1 or 2 year outlook, but they have like a 5, 8, I would say like a 5-year sort of plan almost. And yeah, it's not like they discovered 3-point shooting like the Warriors did. They've discovered, hey, if we have like 15 really decent role players and then like 2 or 3 all-stars, that's what we're going to run. And we're going to play quick, and we're going to go deep. And we're not going to play like 8 players in a rotation. We're going to play like 10, but that 10's going to change outside of our 3 all-stars. That's what they've discovered.
Yeah, man, because I've just been watching the record, and it seems like I don't know how they're going to lose a game.
like they're benching they're benching SGA in the fourth. Chet's been kind of in and out. J Dub's only just come back. Like they don't care. They're like, we've got so many players. Doesn't matter.
All right, let's jump into the freezer because obviously it doesn't get more piping hot than OKC. There's a couple of teams where it's at that mode where you accidentally set your fridge too cold and then you try and pull out a drink and it's frozen solid. Oh. So, Tom, who have you got as your first team that's in the cooler?
This comes back to expectations thing, man. I got the Wolves, and I actually, everyone knows I got a bit of a soft spot for the Wolves. I like the team. And they're actually okay. They're 14-10 at the moment. So this is nothing to sneeze at. But recently in the last sort of couple of games, last week or so, they've lost to the Suns. They lost to the Kings. They beat the Clippers by 3, which, I mean, you got the dub, but you didn't get the moral dub. I'll put it that way. They beat the Pelicans the other day by like 5 or 8 points, but Ant had to drop a 40-piece. And it's these kinds of wins where you kind of looking around. It reminds me of the AJ Griffin days, Bucks chat incoming, where we were 30-13, but the wins were really not. They didn't taste good. And I feel like with the Wolves, they're 14-10, but the wins really aren't tasting good, and the losses are really bitter. So I just think that they're kind of looking around. They're like, our record does not reflect how badly we've been playing. So that's who I've got on the fridge, mate.
Wow. And just as someone who's just a massive hater of this guy, is there any Gobert effect that you would say is part of this?
Not sure. I haven't watched every game. So I'm probably actually, I know you want me to dunk that alley-oop and just rip on Gobert.
Unlike Rudy Gobert.
But couldn't help yourself, could you? But I'm not sure I can lay this at his feet. I know Naz Reid is having a stinker of a season, which is just tragic because obviously he signed that massive contract in the offseason. I, again, had him on my fantasy team. Mate, he is having a career stinker. Like, cannot buy a 3. Is not getting boards anymore. Kind of parallel to Bobby Portis. Again, sorry for the Bucks incoming. But just having a shocker. So I think that's really hurting them off the bench. They trade away Nickeil Alexander-Walker, which, I don't know. It's just not a great move. Do you know what I mean? So...
Yeah. Well, look, let's go from a cold team to a team that has frozen so solid that when I view the subreddit of this team, it feels like people are leaving now. And that is one LA Clippers.
Oh, it's
now
grim.
This may be the worst start to a season, and I want to caveat that with,
and we have the Wizards.
by a team that has potentially 5 Hall of Famers on it. And I just kind of want to run through this, okay? Because I'm wondering, is this the worst team ever assembled with 5 potential Hall of Famers? Let me lay the cases out. So there's 3 definite Hall of Famers. Kawhi, Harden, CP3. They're all going to get into the Hall of Fame. No worries about that.
Quite rightly.
There's 2 people that are on the bubble that I think are potential, which is Bradley Beal and Brook Lopez. Now, Brook
Leading
Lopez...
scorer of the Nets. Thank you very
absolutely.
much.
And a long career, second team all defense, played for the USA. So there's a potential 5 Hall of Fame people on this team, and they are the 14th seed in the West.
Oh, great.
Behind the Kings, behind all these other teams. Expectations not only couldn't have been bad, but they've gone much worse than that. The Kawhi scandal at the start has started this season off terribly. Ty Lue allegedly tangentially involved in this case by the FBI. There's the Harden and CP3 not working again like the Rockets, and then which eventually led to CP3's dismissal on his retirement tour. This is a dreadful start, and it doesn't seem like it's getting better. I just want to get your take on the Clippers.
Oh, mate, it's just gone from bad to worse. I think the funniest thing is that everyone knew this was going to happen. And you know it's bad when the main narrative about your franchise is, oh, crap, they're so bad and OKC are going to get their pick. Do you know what I mean? Like, whenever people talk about the Clippers, they talk about how if they keep playing this poorly, their pick, it has impacts and ramifications for the rest of the league with regards to the pick in OKC. And for me, that's just hilarious and tragic. So, yeah, we all saw it coming. I don't know what they expected would happen. We all saw it happening from a mile away, and bless them. But is it going to change? Not at all. I don't know why they thought waiving CP3 would do anything to change the arrangement. Obviously, Bradley Beal out with a season-ending hip injury.
But yeah, man, you know the other thing about the Clippers that's funny is it's like you think about who are they building around, and like the name is like Zubac. It's like what, like what is this franchise, dude?
Oh, it's grim, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Well, let's. Did you have anyone else you wanted to talk about before we get to, of course, the team that's in your background?
Really briefly, just the Cavs.
Okay.
Obviously, we're first in the East last season. I think they're currently sitting at like 7th or 8th.
Mm-hmm.
It's really bad. They've recently, again, in the last week or so since you've been away, they've lost to the Warriors, the Blazers, and the Hawks. Eesh. And it's just not good for Cavs fans. It comes down to expectations. You know what I mean? Like, I think everyone thought they wouldn't have the same season, but they'd be like a comfortable, maybe 2 to 3 seed up there with the Knicks. And, well, yeah, no one thought Detroit would be this good. No one thought Celtics would be this good, but those are the 3 top seeds, and the Cavs are just having a bit of a stinker. So, Lonzo Ball sort of experiment not working out well. The rest of the team's largely unchanged, though. So I don't know. In my head, I'm like, is the league passing them by? Like, they traded away Karis LeVert, which I know doesn't sound like much, but Mans was pretty good off the bench, and you know, maybe that's locker room stuff. So I don't know, man. You'd hate to be a Cavs supporter. I've got one on retainer, and we may bring him in for an episode soon. If it keeps going this bad, we may have to. So
we can both grieve as teammates, because I think we've got to get into our team that also has been severely underperforming. And I think that it's important that we check in right now, because there couldn't be a better time to check in. So it's time to head over to our segment that we usually save for the end, but there's been too much Milwaukee Bucks chat since I've gone. So let's jump into Bucks chat. And again, for new listeners, you're never going to see a longer intro than this for a segment.
We've cornered the market on long intros to segments.
Yeah. So I guess, Tom, when we look at this, we can see, like the Bucks, I feel like we have jumped off a cliff since I recorded about a month ago.
Oh. Keep waving.
There we go. And there's the font we love to see.
It's just a terrible font. It's such orchestral, beautiful arrangement on the music as well. It's a shocker of a font.
No animation in for the font either. Just fades on. Nice and simple. Now, Tom, I want people to sort of see where I'm coming from as a Bucks fan, because when I left us, let me give you the snapshot of November 10, 2025, okay, where the Milwaukee Bucks were.
Yeah.
So let me just give you a little bit of what that looked like, okay? I left when the Bucks were at 7-4, comfortably in the 5th seed. We were looking really good. We were talking a lot about, is this Giannis's best season ever? He had some of the best splits ever. He was looking like Shaq. I just kind of want to show some different elements that we were looking at that time. So let me just quickly share this image. So this was us exactly a month ago. Loving life. For people that aren't watching the videos, it's comparing Ryan Rollins and Giannis to Shaq and Kobe. So that's one thing that we were looking at. And the other thing that I wanted to show you, Tom, was I'm just going to show you a clip from our a month ago. Okay. And I want you to tell me how you feel about this. I'm going to start here. Okay. So I just want you to go from this point. Here we go.
Ready.
So here's the clip of us exactly a month ago.
Is this Doc's best coached season so far?
Probably the Celtics have to be.
I mean,
in that category, but I mean, this is the best I've seen since that.
Oh no! Oh no! We get the receipts of how we fumbled it. What a terror! That is some Agent like milk kind of take.
So that was 1 month ago where I left. Tom, what has happened to the Milwaukee Bucks?
Dear, I mean, it's just gone. It's just been bad news, man. I don't know. And the tragic part of all of this is that KPJ is back and he's on a heater. So Kevin Porter Jr. came back from like double injuries, missed the first, sort of month and a half of the season, and he's averaging like 26, like 23 points, 8 assists, 5 boards, 4 steals, something stupid like that. He's having a blinder. But mate, we lost the games we were meant to win. We had a couple of bad calls. So we had a couple of unfortunate losses, but a lot of this really hinges on a loss to the Wizards. I don't
Chris
know
Middleton's revenge.
Mate, Chris Middleton and CJ McCollum decided to turn into Steph and Clay backcourt. And they torched us, and we almost won it too. We lost by a pretty slim margin, and it broke the Bucks' spirit. You actually saw Giannis was so cut. He stopped getting back on D. He would just like stay on the ground when he didn't get a foul call. And something changed. I don't know what it was, but I think losing to the Wizards does something to a man and does something to a team. And, again, I'm getting a case of the Nas Reeds with Bobby. For whatever reason, Doc has been drawing up basically a third of his plays for Bobby Portis. And I have no idea why Bobby Portis is getting so many mid-post looks where he just pulls from mid-range. Again, tragically, Kuz is having a really good year. This is his best year, I would say, outside of the Lakers championship season. He's playing as a role player, slashing, layups, hits a 3, rebounds. I'm loving Kuz. Rollins has cooled off a little bit, but you kind of expect that. It's honestly, people who are having stinkers. Gary Trent Jr. has not hit a 3 in like 3 NBA business weeks. Like, I don't see the man. Cole Anthony's out of the rotation. Probably a good thing. But
Okay.
he's just not playing anymore because he wasn't scoring. Mate, I love Miles Turner. I actually thought it was a good signing. But I don't know what to tell you. He's getting like 6 rebounds and like 10 points. He's also not even seeing the fourth quarter. He's got the anti-SGA fit where like where Doc will just sit him in the fourth because we're behind. And he's like, I won't give him minutes. I'll give him to Bobby instead.
Man.
I don't know what it is, man. Jericho Sims actually he had a breakout game. But it's just, he's a black hole on offense. Ajax is seeing minutes, black hole on offense. Our rotations are trash. Doc's just decided to not draw up any plays for anyone ever. And it's a KPJ, like one-man army out there, man. I don't know what happened, but Doc's, yeah. Geez, that was a bad take from us.
Yeah, before we get into that, I just want to check final person. I want to get a bit of a heat check before we sort of get into some
I
stuff
covered
I want
most
to talk
of the
about.
roster on that, mate.
Is someone who has been looking good for the last couple seasons, but how's he looking now? Is AJ Greenlight?
He's actually been shooting really good.
Okay.
But he injured his shoulder in the last game, or 2 games ago, so he's out for the last game. He's actually been shooting like crazy good. He had about 20-point game a few games ago, but it's just not enough because he doesn't draw. He draws up like, I think he gets like 2 plays a game that Doc will draw. It's a dribble handoff and he'll get a 3. But he's not getting enough plays drawn up for him. Also, I don't think Doc's let him do anything other than shoot 3s. I actually think that the next step in AJ Green's game is pump fake off the 3-point line, kind of that 90s pull up deep 2, or even like a floater game. But Doc is just not letting him do any of that. And it's only 3s or pass. And yeah, now he like injured his shoulder. I don't think it was that bad, but like it was enough. And this is the thing, man. So Giannis goes down. We win that Detroit game. But it's kind of not enough because we're not winning. Like we lost to the Trailblazers. Like I said, we lost to the Wizards. We're losing these games that we should be winning. And then we kind of win an off game against Detroit and then got punished by them, a couple of days ago we played again. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's good because I've been from afar just watching this team rack up loss after loss. Like just for people to know, like our last 10 games we're 2-8, right, which is the same as the Clippers, which are in the freezer right now. So we are now for the first time in a long time. Like I saw us dip below the play-in, like we were the 11th seed for a little bit, and I haven't seen that on a Giannis team in a very long time. This seems like a bit of a disaster, and I don't know how much of it. Like if I wanted to just guess from what you're saying, How much of it is Doc? I think certainly a solid percentage is definitely him. And I think what you're talking about harkens back to my worst nightmares about Doc when we signed him, which is that he's a coach from a different era of basketball and the league is changing. And the other part is the personnel, like when I think of Bobby Portis and then I think of OKC, would Bobby Portis see minutes in OKC?
No.
No, because he's not the type of players like that they need. You know, he's not a fast up and down. He's a mid post guy when he's good. He can hit threes when he's good, and he's good at getting lucky rebounds at timely moments. That is his skill. Like his hands always find a timely offensive rebound when you need it. But other than that, he's built for 2008.
He's a better Thanasis.
Yeah.
I actually love Bobby. I love his locker room presence. I love his hype. He does get a timely O board. He does get a timely 3. But let's be frank here. Bobby Portis is just like a better version of Thanasis. And quite frankly, I think if Doc had any kind of metal, he would bench him and have him as a hype guy. People forget that Bud benched Bobby for the whole Nets series on our championship run because he knew he was just going to get flamed by Kyrie and KD, and he wasn't quick enough and wouldn't be a good matchup nightmare for us. So I just think the issue with Doc is he's also a player's coach. He likes to keep people on board. He likes to keep the relationships solid, but it's actually hurting the team. And look, I'll give Doc, the only thing I'll give him credit for is that his rotations, Gary Harris has been seeing minutes. Like I said, Ajax and Jericho Sims have been seeing minutes, which is a good thing. But I can't help but feel that that's out of necessity rather than like an actual coaching choice. The necessity being that we've got no one else to play those minutes. Man, just as like an anecdotal thing, I've been watching the fourth quarters because I'm long suffering. And I watch it now because I just want to see Thanasis come out. I want to see him come out and get a dunk. And what he actually delivered the other day, he actually got a crazy putback, and it got me hyped up. And I was like, this is why I watch Bucks basketball. But yeah, man, I don't know what it is. We got to talk about Giannis rumors. Is it time?
I think it's time. All right, let's talk about some stuff I want to talk about with Giannis because let's start with the positives, okay? And here's the positives. First of all, there was a comment that came out today where they said that Giannis does not want to be traded. He's interested in staying on the team and building this. So there's a positive. And the second positive is I think you can't make a better MVP case for anybody than Giannis by watching this team with and without the dude, okay? With the dude, we were where we were a month ago, 7-5. Without him, we're an 11th seed. So if you wanted to just have a pure value of a player, I don't know what better metric you could be using than the last month. What are your thoughts before we get into the negatives and potential alternative arrangements for the dude?
Well, the positives are that he's never actually come out and said that he wants a trade. All the rumors have been from an inside source, maybe an agent, this and that. He's always just said, I want to be in Milwaukee. So his family's here. Thanasis is here. His mum's there.
Alex is there.
Alex is there. Don't forget. So we've never taken seriously genuine Giannis rumors. This one felt different though, because Giannis hasn't come out and said otherwise. And he's also, in years gone by where we haven't performed as we should have, which is basically every year since the championship, there's kind of been, his attitude hasn't been that bad, and there's been genuine reasons, but he really looks like a man broken. And he really looks like he's tired of doing all the heavy lifting. And I can't blame him. So I don't know if this is actually going to happen. I'm confident. I think he will stay because the thing about Giannis is he's smart. In years gone by, he's let the rumors sort of happen, in my sense, because it forces the front office to make moves to keep Milwaukee competitive. That's why Miles Turner. That's why Dame came. And unfortunately, they've had varying amounts of success. Miles Turner still, I'll give him a little bit more. We're only, 25 games into the season, whatever it is. There's plenty of time for him. He's had some huge threes as well. He hasn't had a bummer season. But this time I'm kind of like, it doesn't make sense. Like, there's no reason that he's using his leverage. There's no collateral he's calling in. Do you know what I mean? This is a really bad time to be traded. No one's got assets. No one's looking to like clear everyone, it's not like contract is up, player options, none of that. So I'm kind of like, crap, maybe this is real.
Yeah, and the thing is, so I agree with this, and if the team was a little bit better, I wouldn't be worried because the East is really weird this season, So there's a chance,
Yeah.
like, just having Giannis on your team puts you in a competitive slot, and you're going to probably make it into the playoffs just by having him alone because he's just having such a dominant season.
Yep.
But the problem is, when I look at the Milwaukee Bucks now, I see a team that, as you said, doesn't make sense. Because what it is it's clearly that we've got pieces for the future, which we've never had before as a franchise. This is so unusual as a Milwaukee Bucks fan from the last, certainly 5 years, but longer than that.
Longer, yeah.
It's been a lot of Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, names that have already been established. Ersan Ilyasova.
just came to me, man.
Yeah.
Never forget.
But there's been, whenever we had youth, we traded it away and we were just building for that moment. When I see our team now, I think AJ Green is maybe the best three-point shooter in the NBA just percentage-wise from what I saw recently. Dude is unbelievable. He's lights out. Every time he shoots the ball, I think it's going in, no matter how wild the shot is. We've got Ryan Rollins, who, again, is hit or miss, but there's definitely flashes of someone who you can build your team around in the future, or at least, worst case scenario, an amazing sixth man. That's his worst case scenario, in my opinion. We've got KPJ, who is, as you're saying, having a great season. And a solid guard you can build around.
He's young too.
Exactly. And when I look at these guys, I look at a team that maybe in 3 years, using a similar idea to an OKC, these are pieces that slot into that role. Solid built guys who can play fast, a lot of good stuff there. And even I think Giannis can play that. But when I look at the rest of the team, I see some things that need to kind of be moved on and focused for a 2030, 2029 run. You know what I mean? That's what we're looking at. And so does that mean that it's the best time possibly to trade Giannis now? High trade value, and just because here's the thing, what's fair to him? If he wants to stay in Milwaukee, great. Okay, that's fantastic. We're happy to have him. It's like having Shaq on Orlando. We're happy to just have him on the team and be competitive every year.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, I wonder also about where does this leave him in terms of first team NBA. We've seen him drop off the first team defense and all that stuff already. And I think as the team becomes less relevant, you sort of end up becoming I remember when Boogie Cousins was on Sacramento and he was a good player and he was putting up great numbers and he was trying to get them to wins, but you're never going to get all NBA accolades with that kind of stuff. And it's just kind of, you end up in this weird, I don't want to say Trae Young and the Hawks, but you kind of end up in that zone where it's where you're okay, we have, if things go right, we can win a playoff series, maybe 2, but we're not sniffing the finals because the other teams are just too strong.
Yeah.
So for me, it could be time to look at a trade seriously and just be we've had the Giannis era. We've got the championship. He's got the statue. He's got everything. There's nothing that he needs to leave on the table. Is this the era to just go, let's cash in. Let's grab all this. Let's put him on a good team. As a Bucks fan, I'm even going to support whatever team he goes to. But do we start looking at 2029 and go, we've got some pieces here and we go from there? What are your thoughts, man?
Oh man, I have so many emotions,
Yeah.
and it just makes me think, would we just be like the Magic and consign ourselves to, irrelevancy for so long? I mean, they traded away Shaq. I don't even know what they got for that trade.
A handshake, mate.
Yeah, they got a high five and a see you later. And, it wasn't until maybe Dwight came, Dwight Howard. That's 10 years later though. Do we have to wait that long to get another? And again, even with Dwight, they didn't get as far as, and Tim Hardaway obviously, but I just think, are we going to be the same small market and be waiting for another good draft to come through? I guess the question, and this is where I'm at, man. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, Giannis gets traded. I want the best for him. He's only got a few more years left of his prime, obviously. He deserves another ring, and he's still playing at MVP level. Will I follow him or will I stay with the Bucks? And I don't know. My heart is torn because I love Giannis. and Thanasis.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they're a trade package. That goes without saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love it if they went to somewhere like the Wolves. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'd actually froth that. I'd actually really enjoy that. But if he went somewhere like New York, he's always loved. This is the thing. He's always loved Madison Square Garden, and it's not out of the realm possibility that they clear out the whole closet to try and afford him. Would I go for the Knicks? Oh, we're stretching.
Well,
yeah.
Well, you know what, Tom? I think it's time to put the tinfoil hat on a little bit here, because I do want to jump into a bit of a redacted, which is our NBA conspiracy theory segment. So let's go there. All right. So let's just lay this out from the Adam Silver perspective. Okay?
Oh, this is such a dunk,
Here
man.
we go.
This is my hat's on. Tell me to take it off.
So let's just start, because our redacted from our previous episode was about how they are just hacking Giannis, and there's just no calls happening. Despite free throws going up around the league, Giannis is getting slammed off the court. It's just play on.
Abused.
This is Shaq 2000 reffing that's happening to him. And I think that we've got to ask ourselves, if Adam Silver, if that was a inkling, like, hey, Giannis, maybe move on from a small market here, else we're just going to play like this and it's okay. Let's move on and let's think about big brain ideas for what Adam Silver's thinking. So this is probably the first time that Adam Silver has seen Giannis, someone who, again, is basically as dominant as Shaq was in that 2000s period, wanting to move and to a team that's actually good. Yep. Now, in my mind, I know this is probably not going to happen now because this team's done well, but I was seeing like a Jaylen Brown for Giannis trade, because Celtics have always loved Tatum more. This is a different look for them. Instead of having two wings, now you've got a big and a wing. And you know Giannis is going to play hard. Joe Mazzulla is going to love him because Joe Maz loves hard defense, and so that's also Giannis's MO.
If Drew was still there, that would happen.
Yeah, and the problem is, I don't think Giannis would do that, because I think he fundamentally dislikes the Celtics organization in the same way that all Bucks fans do.
Philosophically, I think he has a.
So the next thing is obviously New York. Now, there's been people talking about this, and if you start looking at what the actual trades can be, they're kind of a bit awkward. They're like Karl Anthony Towns is the centerpiece, which doesn't feel like a Giannis trade, in my opinion. I can understand wanting to get him to the Knicks, but a trade package around Karl Anthony Towns isn't good. Would you flirt with because we have to start talking about like who would realistically be the trade centerpiece? Yeah. And OG Anunoby is kind of like the other name. And again, it's like Giannis for OG. It's not, like, what is OG's credentials? Like, what are we looking at? Like, if we go, do you know what I mean? Like, we look at Giannis, you got like, 10 straight years of first team All NBA or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what is the competitive thing that you're giving back? Especially because he's already having his best season ever. I know this has been a really long Bucks chat, but is it like, when I start saying this, I'm seeing Adam Silver chicanery is definitely going to happen here at some point to get him to a big team.
Oh, it's just, and we've discussed it before with the Luka Lakers trade. For whatever reason, the Lakers mysteriously managed to get things for cheap. You know what I mean? They managed to get incredible trades conveniently done, even, though the books are sort of, how did they afford that, or how did they make that happen? And there's definitely a reality where my hat goes on. And I think somehow Giannis gets exactly what he wants, and he goes to the Knicks and they offload like 5 future first, I don't even know if they have that in their arsenal.
It would have to be like a 3-team where they're trading someone else away, getting picks back, and then giving
but that's what would happen. They would kind of, they would proposition like the Pels or something like that, or the Hawks. I think the Hawks have been in a lot of conversation, and they've got picks, I think, to burn. And they would proposition the Hawks. They would send like OG Anunoby or something to the Hawks, and then get picks, and then send, and because all the Bucks want picks, right? We don't want Cat. We don't want OG. We don't want some busted up vet. We don't want role players. We want picks. So give us 5 Hawks picks, and I can just see it happening, because Giannis is always loved. That's probably the only team that I can see that he's actually even said in the past, like, I would kind of like to play here. I feel like he's actually even said that. We should pick that up.
I think he's also said that about the Bulls, but I don't know if the Bulls are in a much better situation than us. For what they could give up than when Giannis gets on the team. Like, what's the deal? I think he'd play well with Giddey, but the only other one that I've heard that I was like, this could make sense, though I don't think that the Lakers would do it, is the Austin Reeves package for Giannis. So they go like, let's keep
Wow.
Luka and LeBron. Let's trade Austin Reeves, because I can see, like, as a trade piece, Austin Reeves plus like your AJ Green plus your Ryan Rollins plus KPJ. There's an offense of the future there that makes sense. You know,
I'd actually enjoy watching that as well.
Yeah. And I can kind of see that he's from like the sort of Midwest Austin Reeves, so I can see how
Right.
he'd feel like a bit of a sort of hometown hero. I
don't hate that.
Yeah. The other one is, this is just a final one to throw at you. Tyler Hero is from Milwaukee. I can see Miami trying to do that as a thing and be like, it's return of the prodigal son.
Yeah, it really is prodigal son as well. Yeah, we got to wrap up with this Bucks chat, but you know, I think for me, I'm just, you know, watching some shades of the games over the last few weeks and watching KPJ and AJ Green, Ryan Rollins. Like, I kind of get that sense of like that gritty Bucks vibe that we had like 2017. Do you know what I mean? Like right when Giannis was getting crazy good MVP conversations, like we were still very working class, sort of grimy wins. The energy was so good because there were no expectations. And you know what? It could be kind of fun to watch that version of the Bucks again, where it's like, you know what? We've traded away our superstar. Bless him. That's my second team that I watch. But like with the Bucks now, you know, I'm not expecting us to win, but hey, if we get a dub over like the Wolves or something like that, hey, that's actually really exciting. That's really fun. Whereas right now, I'd expect that we'd pump them.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also a good change. Like, then we could change Doc out. I think it's just it feels like to me the time for a start for a new era. Like, we've lost Middleton, we've lost Brook, Drew. Like, that whole era kind of feels like it's coming to a close. So I think it could be time for a fresh start. And I don't know if the timing's going to get better than this. We've seen with Brook Lopez. I'm glad we traded him last season. He's totally fallen off a cliff, man. Poor dude. But
I mean,
Bucks legend.
He's been in the league for so long. Like, you know, we got Wesley Matthews, the third on the comms. I don't know if you've seen that. This is the last thing I'll say. Wes Matthews has been calling the games with oh goodness, I can't believe I'm forgetting her name. And
Lisa Byington.
Lisa. We love Lisa. Big love. Yeah. And he's actually been doing great. I thought I'd miss Marquez, but he's actually been really great on the calls. So, look, when you've got former teammates on the call, yeah, maybe it's time to read the tea leaves. But
that's it.
We need to move on.
We do. All right. And speaking of, Tom, hopefully we've covered everything Bucks related there for people that haven't been staying tuned in. And for people that have been watching a lot of other programs, maybe like your First Takes of the world, you're going to love this segment because it's our take on First Take. It's worst fake. Alrighty, welcome to Worst Fake, everybody. This is the segment. Legally, I cut it off at the right time.
And we did. Don't come at us.
Worst Fake is where we bring all the energy of First Take and the passion about basketball opinions, but the only difference is we don't know what opinion we're going to be defending and we don't know what side of the argument we're going to be on. So, Tom, this is going to be improvised, and we're just going to be using our basketball passion to go ahead. Now, I'm going to get you to start here because you've been watching the basketball that's been on, and I want you to kind of really bring the First Take energy to this take, which is letting CP3 go was the best thing for the Clippers season.
This one's simple, man, and here's the thing. You can't have two cooks in the kitchen. You got CP3 out here. He's trying to coach. He's trying to draw up plays. We saw Ty Lue say, flip C3PO. And look, he thought he was all that. He thought he was, you know, going to kind of be that veteran presence on the team. Psych! You can't have a veteran presence when the whole team are veterans. So I think it was just a bad fit from the start. He can't be the veteran. He can't be the coach. And this was the best thing for the Clippers. They've unshackled themselves from another 35, 36-year-old. And now they can really get back to what they do best, which is playing slow basketball. They've got guards. They don't need to worry about that. James Harden is having a fantastic year. He's actually been playing really well. Assists are at all-time high. He's still scoring the basketball, no worries. And I think between him and Zubats, the future's looking great. So CP3, Deadwood. And, if the history between him and Ty Lue tells us anything, is that he doesn't need a farewell tour. He doesn't need a kind of, golden hour sort of see you later, enjoy every last game. Nah, that's it. This was the best thing. And look, when you're at the bottom, all you can do is go up.
So CP3, see you later, you reckon?
That's what I think, mate.
Wow, good take, good take.
Such a dog move. Such a dog move.
I love that you're like the only way is up from here. So it's a good way to view it, I think, and I think the Clippers will be feeling that way as well. Man, just to quickly touch on this, man, it's amazing to kick someone off a team for trying to win. Like, that's really what it feels like at the end of the day, and it's an incredible situation where we've seen CP3 take teams that have had a record kind of like this to a really nice place. And it's just
multiple teams.
Yeah.
You did it with the Spurs, OKC.
Yeah.
Like
now it's just like, maybe not. Let's not have any of that magic. So anyway, tough loss for him, but I'm gonna get to him in my Ryan out in a little bit. So we've got some more info there. Tom, what do you got for me?
He will feature in a later segment for us as well. Mate, I've got a team that no one wants to talk about because no one cares.
Mm-hmm.
But they're currently, I'm just double checking, they are 5th in the East. And so what I want for you, Jez, you may not have realized this, but I need you to defend and explain to me why the Raptors are the dark horse of the East right now.
Okay, I actually have been thinking about this, so I'm glad you've dished this up to me, man. All right, what are the Raptors and why are they so good? Okay, I actually have an answer for this. Weirdly, the Raptors have done an all-time accidental move to make themselves good. They could easily right now be the New Orleans Pelicans. They could easily be right there, all right? But they've accidentally created a perfect 2026 team. Now, what they were doing, it seems like for the last couple of years, is just stockpiling wings for when people wanted three-point shooters. And they're like, here, we'll be the people that will trade you OG Anunoby. Give us your stuff. They were there. That was them, right? But then what's happened is the league has actually been like, who we need a lot of is like tall wings. And then all of a sudden the Raptors are sitting here going,
we got 6
hold on. Yeah, that's us. So accidentally the Raptors, through trying to become a trade asset team, have become a good team. Now, I don't know. I know people are saying Scotty Barnes has been having a great season. Scotty Barnes is one of those players that, just for whatever reason, whenever I watch him, he has the worst game of all time. So I've never seen this man play well. I've always seen him score 12, 3 and 3, and wonder why he's on all-star teams. But he's obviously playing well in other games. Brandon Ingram has just been clutch. They've just been like, you know what? This dude is going to can shots at the end of shot clocks. Like, I see them on my social media, like him, Brandon Ingram again, 0.6 seconds left.
Timu KD.
Yeah. And to be honest, I've always been a Brandon Ingram. I've always been on Brandon Ingram.
A truther.
A truther, absolutely. He's like, I have a lot of truthers. I'm a truther for a lot of people that are not good. D'Angelo Russell has been having a terrible season. I'm still a D-Lo truther. And Brandon Ingram fits within my mold of guy who you kind of know what you got by the first 5 minutes of the game. It's either going in or it isn't. And if it isn't, he shouldn't be playing. So that's my take, is I actually think they're accidentally built for the 2026 season, and I want to see how they go. They're going to be one of these teams that's just annoying to play once it gets to the postseason, because they're just all long, and you've got a guy who can hit clutch shots on that team. So yeah, that's my thoughts. What do you reckon, man?
I like it. And you're totally right. They accidentally found themselves in the build of the NBA that everyone else has been trying out, which is athletic wings who can shoot threes, and they've found, and by no manufacturing of their own. Also, I think a few players have just decided to have career seasons. It's like they just they're at the right age. They've played just enough basketball. Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, even Emmanuel Quickly. These guys who've been around for a while, but they haven't quite hit, and they're just starting to get their groove now. And so it's like, hey, man, we won't win anything, but let's ride it.
Yeah. Actually, I think you've touched on the secret sauce, is that what OKC and Indiana did last year in the finals is they showed how you can win with a young team. they're like, if your team's young, here's the advantage. They just need to not stop running, you know?
Yep.
And so the Raptors accidentally, again, have just fallen into that because they have these young players, and now that's the pace of the game. So like, okay, great. We're ready to go. So, yeah, very fascinating, man. I am very interested to see how their season goes. Will they be like, again, not to say this again, but the Detroit from last season, a team you don't want to play in the postseason that could win a round or two?
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Well,
let's move on.
That's the time will tell there, and that's a timeout on that segment, which feeds us nicely into a rhyme out for this episode. Alrighty, everybody, welcome to Rhyme Out. This is our open mic poetry segment about the NBA. We have yet to find another consistent poetry NBA segment on the internet. You're at the only place you can find it, right here on Hoopatheticals. And Tom, we've both got some good poems today, I'm sure. Do you want to kick us off today with your NBA poem? And can I ask, how Bucks related is it?
0%.
Unheard of.
I know. There's been no mention of the Bucks in this poem. As much as I tried to shoehorn in, I thought, no, thank you.
I'm proud of you, man. Just before
We've had enough
started.
Bucks chat, and I thought that I would bless our listeners with something different. So, it's that time of year between Thanksgiving and Christmas cheer. We all know what's up. It's time for the NBA Cup. It's the third year running, yet still no one knows how it all works, except for the prize money. Teams battle it out for that green. All it really means for me is less NBA this week on TV. It's just real, though. I actually sat down to try and work it out. All I found is confusion and no victory clout. I don't want to just complain. The Thunder will play the Spurs, even if in the fourth, SGA probably won't play. That didn't rhyme like I thought it would. Finn.
Okay.
I really thought that last one. Where did I think the...
Like an SGA move, you like to keep it unpredictable, mate. That was thought I was going for a layup. That was a spin back and pop it in.
Yeah, but you got the idea. So
yeah, no. Look, the NBA Cup is an interesting one, man. It was fun for us to watch when the Bucks won. I'm not going to lie, that was a fun experience.
True.
But outside of that, my positive for the NBA Cup is that people are competitive in December. I remember watching years past where just no one was playing, and look, that does happen still with some teams. But yeah, it is still kind of finding its groove as to where its significant ranks. Like, is it better to win the NBA Cup or be second team all defense? I'd say second team all defense, in my opinion. It's better than being second team all rookie, worse than being second team all defense. It's somewhere in there, in my opinion.
This is what Adam Silver really needs to. This is what he needs to know, isn't it, about the NBA Cup? Anyway, yeah.
Look, as I mentioned, this one is for CP3, who was ungraciously dismissed from a team that's basically going about as poorly as it can go, that doesn't have its own pick. All right, let's jump into this. This is one for CP3, as I said. Thank you. CP3, OKC, let this man cook, you'll see. Take the Clippers' sting, turn it into a championship ring, leave James Harden in the play-in. We saw Shea called him in the finals. OKC, grow a spinal. Perfect end of the career. It's the timal. Probably could have used a few more syllables in that one.
Yep.
Here's the final stanza. The Clips are real shitty. They fired him because he wouldn't quitty. But that's all for the best. Because now he gets to avoid Flop City.
Quitty. Was a nice welcome. Thank you. That was lovely.
Thank you. Yeah, the thoughts are that should OKC just add him as the 13th man and give him the ring?
I mean, kind of like just put him on the bench, man.
Yep.
Like sub him in the last minute of the finals, whatever you need to do. But yeah, that's tough.
That's tough. All right. Well, Tom, we've gone on long enough. I think it's certainly time for this. Let's head into our final segment, our segment that's been on basically every single episode. It's time for Agent Cody Bank.
Why is there a siren? I don't...
Because he's a secret agent, Tom, and he's being there's a lot of puns going on.
I'm the idiot.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Let's not even get into the font choice. Agent Cody Bank. So Agent Cody Bank, for people that haven't listened before, you and I are going to be acting as agents for people that are either involved in the NBA or adjacent to the NBA, and we're going to be trying to get them the bag. But the problem is we don't know who we're going to be representing, and we've only got 45 seconds to elevator pitch this person to an agent that we'll be dialing into. Tom, I think I'm going to get you to go first again here. Again, as you've been hanging around the NBA. This guy, I think his stocks might be as low as it's possible to get while still currently being employed. And I would love to get your thoughts on being the agent and pitching this guy to a team, and that is one Glenn Doc Rivers.
Oh dear. And I said before about Glenn, he's a people's coach. He's a player's coach. So if you want someone who's going to unify, coaches have lost locker rooms and therefore lost their jobs. We've seen it happen before. Mike Malone, unfortunately. And I think this is his strong point. This man can talk himself into any head coaching role. He's been doing it for decades at this point. He's in the top 10 games ever won by a coach in the NBA. I think he's even top 5 perhaps. So he's got credentials. I think that any team that's looking to have their superstar massaged and smoke blown straight up their backside, and even role players, hire this man. So if you've got any kind of Bobby Tortoise types, get Glenn Rivers on the case.
You're right. This is making me realize it's time for the proper farewell reunion tour we didn't think of. Doc to the Clippers. Let's just make it happen.
Bring him home.
It's perfect.
CP3 is gone. Bring him back.
That's it. All right. Well, good effort there, Tom. I think you gave as many positive things as you could right now, and you actually didn't hold too many negatives in the thing. So I think that's a great effort, man.
Great. Well, I'm actually going to give you someone who has seen a lot of airtime on this episode, more than I thought anyone than we'd ever give him. You need to convince me he's just been waived by the Clippers. This man, come on. He's got to find a roster spot somewhere. It doesn't have to be OKC, but come on, CP3. This is his last season, his last shot, last dance, some might say. Give it to me.
All right. Well, for me, this is a pretty easy one, and I know the team that should do it. This is just a no-brainer. For me, there's a couple teams actually that need CP3, but the most important team to get CP3 is the Kings, and I know that's going to come out of nowhere for a lot of people, but I'm going to explain why. CP3 has one skill, and that is raising the basement of your team, unless you're the Los Angeles Clippers. So what the Kings need is a season that doesn't feel like they're losing fans every season. And CP3 is like literally one of the only players that can actually do that. They've got stars. They've got no direction. They've got all these players that don't know what they're doing. I think CP3 for the Kings. I would also vote for the Pelicans. Something where you just need, like, this team can't get worse. Let's do something to just mix it up, and CP3 is going to be that person. Now, he might be a locker room cancer if your culture is like, we actually don't really care about the NBA, and he could get a Clippers thing, but for me, that's the answer. Get him on the Kings.
I was just thinking, what if you went to like the Jazz or something, like a team that is perpetually in, trying to get picks for no reason any whatsoever. He would just be a nightmare there. But no, well done. I actually think, tragically for CP3, he has lifted the floor for so many teams, and probably could have helped the Clippers. But anyway, man.
Man, well, it's been a huge episode. It's been a month since we've been back. We had to cover a lot of Bucks stuff. Yep. Is there anything else that you wanted to leave our fans with, Tommy?
Prayers up for the Antetokounmpos. We need it. We need him to stay. But look, only time will tell. We may have to do an emergency episode if Giannis gets traded. We don't think he will, but if he does, emergency episode incoming. So just keep an eye out on that. But other than that, I'll have to leave us with...
Finn.